Hey, welcome back, everyone, to the Fantasy 15. We're your source for fantasy football. It's week 6 in the NFL. And I have back again for our overtime guest is Ryan Jones. He's also a contributor on the Vikings Central Podcast. And we are powered by the Vikings Central Podcast. So a special shout out to Vikings Central. I do want to make sure that before I roll into my Fantasy 15 and my 15 charts, I make sure that I ask you to go ahead and follow us on X, YouTube, and we do upload all of our podcasts onto Spotify after the show. So you're able to watch them back there as well. And then also on TikTok. If you're not already following us as well on the Viking Central podcast, for those of you that are Vikings fans, please go ahead and do that. We're always looking for other overtime guests as well on the show. So if you're out there watching and you have um, a very broad fantasy football experience, knowledge base, and you're interested, please make sure that you send me a DM. We're always looking for other contributors that maybe want to come on and give their perspective to fantasy football and just add to it. We always want to make this show better. With that, no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to jump into our Fantasy 15 and our 15 charts for each position. Start the clock. All right, so jumping in already, we're going to have the schedule for Week 6, and for Philadelphia versus the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Giants. Um, I mean, I know Jackson Dart has looked decent, but again, it really hurts him losing Malik Neighbors. He also lost Darius Slate for this week. So really a big uptick probably for Wan'Dale Robinson owners. So I want to make sure that um, I'm clear on this. This should be a big Philadelphia Eagles game. I would say on the run game as well for Jalen Hurts. Saquon's been struggling a little bit, but I do like the Eagles in this one. Broncos versus the Jets. I do like that Denver defense versus the Jets. Jets have been slowing, even though Justin Fields has been having a big game and putting up some points in garbage time. I do like the Broncos in this one. Jets start slow. Cardinals, Colts. I got the Colts in that one at home. Chargers over the Dolphins. I do have the Patriots over the Saints. And Browns versus the Steelers. I got the Steelers taking that one at home. Cowboys over the Panthers. And I do have the Seahawks taking down the Jaguars. I have the Rams versus the Lamar Jackson less Ravens. So the Rams taking that game. Titans and the Raiders. I actually have Cam Ward getting a victory here over the Raiders on the road. And then Bengals versus the Green Bay Packers. Even though Joe Flacco is there, it's the same Bengals team that's really been struggling lately on offense. And it's his first, he's trying to build chemistry with a new team. I got the Packers winning that one at home. Niners versus the Buccaneers. The Niners have been a stingy team. I think the Buccaneers get it done at home, though, and hand the 49ers their second loss. Lions, I have the Lions going to Kansas City and beating them as well. And then in that last game that we had on there too uh, for Monday Night Football, we actually have, 2 games. I have Buffalo beating the Atlanta Falcons, and then I actually have Chicago going to Washington and also getting the win over the Washington Commanders. Our Week 6 top 15 quarterback chart, I do have Matt Stafford at the top of my charts. They're facing Baltimore. Baltimore is just ravaged with injuries, so I have him putting up a lot of points in this one, especially early. Jalen Hurts, again, I think that's going to be a big game for him, either with his legs or with his arm. I do like Love versus Cincinnati. Everyone's been having a field day with that Cincinnati defense. Jared Goff has another big day against Kansas City. Mayfield's been consistent with putting up points this year as well, even with some injuries at the wide receiver position. It still doesn't look like he's going to get Mike Evans back, but he did get some receiver help back here lately with Godwin coming back. I do like Prescott, who's been putting up big numbers the last couple of weeks against Carolina. Sam Darnold's been consistent against Jacksonville, and then I do like Drake May as well at New Orleans. So he had another good week as well. Just rounding out the bottom, I do have him on here, Justin Fields, just because he does tend to put up some numbers. But again, that's a tough defense. It may be some late garbage time points that gets going in that one. It could be a big game for Caleb Williams against Washington. We'll see what happens. But that could be another one to watch where, maybe I have him rated a little bit lower. He's got the weapons and he seemingly has started to put together some really good passing games, at least fantasy wise. So that could be one to watch. The next one that I have, that was really weird that happened. So the next one I want to talk about too is Patrick Mahomes versus Detroit. So Patrick Mahomes, uh, he's been putting up some numbers here lately, but that is a tough Detroit defense that he's been going against, and it's just it's a tough task for even though they're at home. I do think it's a tough task against a Detroit offense that's going to hold the ball, probably have possession for it, so they're going to have to maximize their opportunities on offense that they get. I like Detroit in this one. Detroit has a decent defense. It's just whether or not uh, Patrick Mahomes really can utilize the weapons that he does have, it, being that he's still missing Rasheed Rice going into this one to put up enough points to keep up with them. Week 6, my top 15 running back chart. My spotlight player is again Jonathan Taylor. Now, Jonathan Taylor, he had 3 touchdowns last week. Amazing. He had a lot of points in half PPR leagues. He had 34.1 points. That's great. Great numbers. Last couple weeks have been monsters for him. Christian McCaffrey, I have him at number 2. Again, that's one of those games versus Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay likes to put up a lot of points, and if it does get into a track meet style, that actually favors McCaffrey, not just with him being able to run the ball, but if they start getting into that dump off pass game, that's where McCaffrey thrives and really starts racking up the points if he starts getting targets and they're trying to play the catch up game. Kyron Williams actually had a really good week last week. And then going against this Baltimore defense, I see him having another good one. Bijan Robinson coming off the bye week should be healthy facing Buffalo. That should be, again, one of those games where he's either going to thrive a little bit on the run game or he's a 3 down back. He's going to get his receptions. He's going to get his yards as well. Devon A. Chain, really good running back as well too to have on here. Not sure why I keep having that clock going off in the background, so I apologize. I do like Ashley Genty going against Tennessee this week. I do like Josh Jacobs versus Cincinnati, especially in this game where it could be one where the Packers pull away and they want to just run the ball and kind of run that clock. J.K. Dobbins, people have been having success against the Jets defense in the run game, so I do like that one. Quinshon Judkins looked like an animal against Minnesota. They've been struggling in the run game, but again, he goes against Pittsburgh, and I do think it continues. He looked good. He looked like an animal going into that one. So I think it continues. Seemingly, he's been getting stronger every week in that run game since he's came and signed with the Cleveland Browns. So I do like him at Pittsburgh. Travis Etienne. Not saying he'll have a ton of success running the ball per se, but he does get catches in the backfield to go with it. So I do have him rounding up my number 10. Atlanta does have a decent run defense. So even though Cook could get in for some touchdowns in there, that's not just a hard defense to go against. And that's why I have him ranked a little bit lower than maybe some might. Going into my top 15 wide receiver chart, I do have a change up top. I've been having Puka Nakua the last couple of weeks, who's been great. And I do still think that Puka is going to get his targets and his opportunities. That just could be a game with Baltimore where it gets out of hand early, and maybe they're not having to throw it around as much or as long in that game. So I do have Jackson Smith and Jigba maybe in a competitive game against Jacksonville at Jacksonville. Last week, he had 8 receptions for 132 yards and a touchdown, and he's been just a high performer. He's number 2 in yards in the league. He's been doing great, and I just think that's going to continue. Jamar Chase going against Green Bay. This could be one of those games where Green Bay maybe gets up early and Joe Flacco is forced to either force the ball to chase or really just try to put up points, garbage time, getting back in the game, whatever it may be. That's kind of been what Cincinnati's had to do. Jamar Chase went over 100 yards last week. I think he does that again this week against Green Bay. So even though Green Bay's got a decent defense, again, I just think it's going to be one of those games where they're going to have to score points to stay in this one, and they're going to have to throw the ball to do that. Abuka, I do have. He had a great week last week, and a lot of that had to do with long catches. But again, no, it doesn't look like Mike Evans is playing yet this week so far. So I do, even if Mike Evans does play, I think it just continues. He has pretty much taken over as the clear wide receiver one at Tampa Bay. Devontae Adams again. I think they're going to have a field day with Baltimore. Um, St. Brown and Kansas City. That could be one of those tough games. Could turn into a track meet, but I do think that St. Brown has a good game here. Calvin Ridley really showed up last week. Cam Ward was definitely hitting him and finding him multiple times. Um, you know, in the deep shots, I've really been working with Calvin Ridley. Tashir McMillan is another one with Dallas. That he's just been he's getting a lot of targets. Jalen Coker could be back this week for Carolina, but I don't think that they go away from McMillan. Diggs had a nice week last week. I think that continues against New Orleans. And Jalen Waddle is the magnet to go to with no Tyreek Hill. That's going to continue with him and A-Chain getting most of the targets and the receptions against the Chargers. Going to week 6 tight end chart, Jake Ferguson had a good week last week, and I think he will also have a good week against Carolina. So last week he had 7 receptions for 40 and 9 yards, but the big thing was he had 2 touchdowns. So that was huge. I do have Trey McBride going against Indianapolis, having a kind of a bounce back week. Not that he had a nondescript week, but um, he didn't have very many yards. He had the catches, but no touchdowns. It was just kind of an average week for McBride, but I think he's going to have to bounce back against an Indianapolis team here. Tyler Warren, I have him up at number 3. Brock Bowers at number 4. Brock Bowers has been kind of struggling a little bit, and hopefully, Gino's able to find him this week. Um, Sam Laporta at number 5 against Kansas City. Sam Laporta started to get going last week. Maybe that momentum continues. Hunter Henry against New Orleans. I like that matchup. And I do like Travis Kelce against Detroit. With limited wide receiving options that Kansas City has, I really think that Kelsey, he got going last week. I think he's going to get going again this week against Detroit, where that could be a track meet type game where Kansas City's really going to have to throw to keep in the game. So that means a lot of targets, a lot of receptions, most likely for Travis Kelsey. Darren Waller, um, he has had the one big game, but I think, again, just limited. You take Tyreek Hill out of there. Washington has kind of stepped in for Miami for Tyreek Hill, but I think Darren Waller's still going to get his fair share of targets, like Kincaid against Atlanta. And Mason Taylor has really stepped up for the Jets. You know, with a tough secondary that Denver has, I think Mason Taylor could be a target. He's starting to gain a little bit of confidence and trust with that coaching staff. My week 6 top 15 kicker chart, Eddie Pinheiro. You know, uh, he was 4 for 4 field goals last week with 2 extra points, and almost all of Tampa Bay's games end up in a high scoring affair, which typically means for a lot of scoring opportunities and a lot of kicks going for Eddie Pinheiro. So I have him as my number 1. Same thing with Chase McLaughlin for Tampa Bay going against that same team in San Francisco. I do have Little versus Seattle is number 3. I like Sly going against Las Vegas for Seattle. Uh, or I apologize. Tennessee. Sorry. Sly for Tennessee. My bad. Aubrey, Carolina, Gay, Chicago, Gano, Butker. Butker, I like that one as well. And Bates, again, a lot of scoring, I think, happens in that game. Going on to our defensive charts, at number 1, I have the Rams again. Again, the Rams, they've been underperforming this year based on what they did last year and just what the what the hype and what the expectations were coming into this year. But they're facing a Lamar Jackson-less Baltimore Ravens team that really, really struggled last week. Henry can't seem to get going. I really like them in this game. I like the Packers versus Cincinnati. And do I think Joe Flacco is an upgrade over Browning? Yes, I just don't know about his first start on almost, I guess, a short preparation week. So I question that matchup. Steelers in Cleveland, I like that one. Broncos at the Jets. Again, it's just been slow starts, and is he going to get the garbage time points? Justin Fields that he has been. Eagles versus Jackson Dart. I like that matchup as well. Colts versus Arizona. Arizona's been having some, wacky struggles last week in their game against Tennessee with DeMarcado, you know, dropping the ball before going into the end zone. Just crazy, fumble type plays. It's just wild. That game last week. I do like the Browns have a really good defense. We'll see what Aaron Rodgers is able to do against them, but I have them at number 7. It gets tougher as we go down in our defensive matchups. Um, Cowboys have really been struggling to hold teams, so I have them lower. Yes, they're going against Carolina, but Carolina's been putting up a little bit of points. Here last week they put up 24. This Cowboys defense hasn't exactly been holding people down. So I don't have them that high for those reasons. Titans at Las Vegas. Geno's been throwing picks lately, so there's probably some points to be had there, just for that case. Not that I don't think that the Raiders would be able to put up points. It's just the fact that I think they're gonna struggle a little bit in this one. All right. With that being said, that's all I have for our top 15 charts. And I do have some comments in here too that we'll get going with. Fat Killa says, "Let's go. Thanks for joining us, Fat. Do appreciate that." And we're about to. I do see we do everything on YouTube. I do see your question. We'll get to that. But at this time, we're going to move into the overtime section, and I'm going to bring on our special guest, Ryan Jones. Ryan, how are we doing today?
Good, man. How's it going?
Going good. Fat Kill is hyped up. We got another trade question or a trade comment on here that I'll bring up here in a little bit. But week 6, with our week 5, we did have some different injuries that did occur in week 6.
Yes, sir.
We but Bucky Irving, he had last week he was down. It looks like he's possibly still out for week 6. So Rashad White is probably still going to get that start. Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings, they both sat out of practice right now, still dealing with injuries. So they may not be back for the Niners. And it doesn't really look like Brock Purdy's going to be back yet either. He's got that toe injury. He missed practice. But Mac Jones has been playing well, so I don't know if there's a rush to bring back Brock Purdy. I mean, they're actually probably playing better right now with Mac Jones.
Yeah, I don't know about better, but they're definitely being super competitive with them, and I mean, it just goes to show you, like, I mean, we've seen it with O'Connell now time and time again. Even Daniel Jones was talking about it, but you see what difference coaching makes when it comes to developing quarterbacks and what the scheme can do for quarterbacks. And I mean, Kyle Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan, Kevin O'Connell, and McVay over in LA are just prime examples of how to develop quarterbacks and the scheme that you can fit around them.
Now with when they say that he's been playing better, when we talk about the type of weapons that he's had or lack thereof.
Yeah,
Mac Jones has been playing really well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was that game against LA was crazy, but it looked like the first 15 plays they had schemed up were just all winners, and they marched on the field and put 14 points up so quick. It almost looked like it was going to be a blowout. And then, of course, LA made a run back, and then ultimately St. Fran was able to pull the game out. But yeah, I mean, I credit the coaching staff a lot on that. It's the reason why Mac Jones has had success. It's the reason why the Mr. Irrelevant has had success and is now very wealthy because of it. Don't get me wrong, like he earned every penny of it. I'm a big believer that you get paid what you're worth, but it's definitely coaching plays a huge part into that as well.
So
and I don't think it happens without the Kyle Shanahan brilliance.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, that plays a part in there, but really, it seems like they can kind of plug and play either quarterback in the system, be successful, even with the injuries, even with the off-season free agent losses that they had. It's just it's pretty remarkable stuff.
Well, let's not forget initially they were going to draft Mac Jones, and
Right.
they made that huge trade up and ended up drafting our boy from NDSU, Trey Lance, and to reunite Mac Jones, or not reunite, but to unite Mac Jones with who Kyle Shanahan clearly wanted in the first place. It's I mean, pretty soon Kirk Cousins is gonna be over there. There's all the quarterbacks that he wanted but didn't get when he wanted them.
Right. So other injuries that just going through what's out
Hampton,
there, we might see with Omari and Hampton out, we might see a two running back lineup with Vidal and Hassan back there, and then CD Lamb is still probably out one more week, expected to return either this week or next week. So
yeah,
we'll kind of
looks like
see
that.
as it gets closer to the week as far as if he's playing. Reports that I've seen is Lamar Jackson is not playing, is leaning towards not playing this week again. That's why I have the Rams at number one. And then the other thing for injuries is Tyrone Tracy. So Tyrone Tracy is actually projected to he's a full participant and he's projected to play this weekend.
Yeah,
So
they play
Scatabo could
tomorrow.
be, it could be digging a little bit into some Scatabo reps.
Yeah, they play tomorrow. That's it's interesting. He's got no injury designation going into the game. So
Correct.
I don't think they're gonna put him back in a full workload type of capacity on a short week. So I
And
would
I don't
still
think he's the
expect
RB1 in there anymore.
who I don't know. I mean, I like Scattaboo a lot, and I mean he's been effective, but he's a bruiser, and I
Right.
still think they're going to utilize him as such. I don't know that he's going to be RB1 or necessarily a featured back. I still kind of like Tyrone Tracy in that offense. He didn't really do much this season to lose his job other than get hurt. And I know Scattaboo is a beast, but Tyrone Tracy showed all last year like he was a bright spot in that offense, and
We'll see
he
how
just
they
got
use him.
injured.
Maybe
Yeah,
they end up using them kind of like the Vikings do with Jordan Mason and Aaron Jones, where Tyrone
fantasy
Tracy
wise, I
is
wouldn't
more of that
start
third
him.
round back.
Yeah, fantasy wise, I would not start him. I would definitely
Agreed.
see how this week plays, maybe even next week plays,
Mm-hmm.
and then kind of go from there. But
Yeah, for sure this week, and I think following this week, depending on how it goes, the following week, I think that's where it gets maybe even dicey. Do you play either running back just because if they're sharing carries, you just might have better options in
yeah,
your lineup as far as you want that bell cow that's going to get the majority of the carries and maybe not sharing, if you will.
yep.
I think those are the main ones that I wanted to cover. Going into different questions that I have, I just want to bring up one of the questions we have from We Do Everything. He says, "Hey, bro, I traded Pittman Jr. for Lad McConkey. What are your thoughts on that?"
Well, I think Ladd's kind of had a little bit of a lackadaisical start, so it's a nice. First of all, if it's a Dynasty League, I think it's fantastic trade. But even in a regular, I do like Lab McConkey a lot. And I know he's off to a slow start, but I don't necessarily think that that's in, an indication of how the rest of the season is going to play out for him, because there has been games where there's been targets and just not not as many targets as you would think reeled in. So he's a great red zone target to coming in on the slot. Quick option routes and slants within the red zone are always good things to have. So I think I like the trade. I know Indy's been airing it out, but they have so many guys. They all kind of share the bulk of the receptions and touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a fair trade.
For me, I like Lad McConkey more than I like Pittman Jr. And as far as Lad goes, I mean, this was an opportunity. I mean, typically, let's rewind back to last season. This trade would never happen,
No.
because Quentin Johnson has kind of emerged, and Lad McConkey has had a slow, at least the first 4 weeks. He had a good week last week. But because of that, you're kind of able to buy him at a lower price. So I think this is definitely the time to buy him. Lad McConkey, it'll be interesting to see how this season plays out. Is he the wide receiver one on that team, or is Quentin Johnson? Has he finally taken that step to achieve what he was supposed to be when the Chargers drafted him? So we'll see. But I do like Lad McConkey, and you got to look at okay. So Daniel Jones, he's played good this season, but track record wise, if you had to choose who's going to throw the ball to your receiver over the long term, you're going to choose the proven commodity, which is Justin Herbert.
Yep.
So I definitely like that quarterback throwing the ball over Daniel Jones. Again, we'll see if this is something that's a long-term thing for the Colts. But I mean, that's what's really plagued Pittman Jr. Is he really just hasn't had a quarterback throwing him the ball. And that situation with Indianapolis, again, Indy thinks that they found, maybe their quarterback of the future potentially with Daniel Jones, but we'll just see. Again, we're only in week 6. Through 5 games, he's played great. We'll just see how that pans out. So that's just kind of where I'm at.
Indy should be thanking the Vikings organization so much for Daniel Jones. He was on whatever Andrew Whitworth's podcast is, and he was talking about the Vikings quarterback room and brought up Josh McCown, Grant Udinski last year, who was with the Vikings organization, has since moved on, and Kevin O'Connell. And he said he's like, I've always been a nerd and in the film room, watch film and try to dissect everything. And I'm paraphrasing here, but he said, he's like that room just brought it to a whole nother level. He's like, it was totally different. So he definitely took a lot out of his short time in Minnesota. So good for him.
So what does that say about whatever they're doing with Brian Dable at the New York Giants? Now, Jackson Dart at least, has shown a little bit of something, but I mean, you had Russell Wilson go in there too. He had one good week. Again, just not working. Are they just doing something weird and wrong there compared to what the Vikings or maybe even the Colts are doing?
I think what makes coaches what makes a good coach is their ability to adapt to the player's strengths. And this cat is going crazy right now. I'm sorry.
It's good entertainment.
But they're anyway, what makes a good coach is their ability to adapt the scheme and the plays and everything around players' strengths. Especially when it comes to your quarterback. And I think what makes Kevin O'Connell and even that coaching tree so effective is that they are able to, it's one thing to say that. Then it's another thing to actually know what your player's strengths
Mhm.
are, because what your player says his strengths are may not be what you notice your player's strengths are. So their ability to dissect that and figure out what those strengths are is something else. And I think that's the difference when you look at Brian Dable. I think his scheme and his way is his way,
Mhm.
and you either fit his way or you don't fit in the organization. And I don't know, and I think that's kind of what makes the biggest difference.
I think Viking fans are just hoping that Kevin O'Connell can do that to his own quarterback and JJ McCarthy when he gets back on the field,
Yeah, for sure.
and can maybe adapt that offense a little bit better to what JJ's strengths are to maximize that.
Yeah,
Um, let's jump into the schedule. I know I kind of went over who I thought were good picks, but if those individuals that might be in fantasy football pick'em leagues, let's go ahead and hear Jonesy's take on who you think who you're picking in each one of these games.
yeah. Well, pick'em leagues are always fun. I think probably the one that most people are going to be taking this week is going to be the Rams over the Ravens. I think it's going to be really popular just because Lamar Jackson is going to be playing, and I think it's an opportunity right now to use a team that you would not normally, or that you would never normally pick against. You know, so when you have that opportunity and pick 'em leaves, you kind of want to go ahead and do it. So, but going down the list here, I like Philly over New York. I think that's kind of a given.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be super motivated and wanting to bounce back after their loss over this past week. And I'm going to kind of pull. I think it'll be fun to kind of pull the spreads and see what those are as we go through this
Sure,
too,
I can
if
read them
that's
off
cool.
if you want. Right now, the spread is
Yeah.
Philly 7.5. Right now, the over under is 40.5.
Okay. 7.5 is a lot for a Thursday night divisional game. So I kind of almost like the Giants to cover, but obviously Philly to win. Um, Denver versus New York. I
Seven
like
and a half.
Denver.
Denver seven
Seven
and a
and a
half.
half.
Yep.
Seven, and it's in Denver.
Nope. It's at New York.
It's at New York. Okay. Um,
Basically, all the teams on the right side are the home teams.
okay, cool. All right. I mean, I like Denver in this game. I like Denver a lot. I think their defense is stellar. And jeez, um,
Wants to
just
be a star.
I mean, he's usually sleeping. I think Denver covers. So Denver by 8+ against the Jets. I think the Jets are on the verge of quitting on the season as it stands. Cardinals versus Colts.
That's a 7.5 indie spread.
Sheesh, that's a lot of points. I don't think they cover. I don't know. Arizona's so hard, man, because they have just funky stuff go on in every game. They're like the one team that it's like you can never figure out because just weird stuff happens in Cardinals games.
How
And
about Gannon getting fined? You know,
yeah, I mean, I
the
get
altercation
like
with
you
David
can't.
Cardo.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like I don't. He didn't deserve to get fined for that. That's crazy. Your player did a
I mean, you're
really
gonna light
idiotic
up.
thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You're gonna any coach is gonna light up their player. Now you may say, hey, you know, I don't know.
I don't know. I
I
don't
think
know either, but
it, it,
that's
it,
wild.
it the camera angle was weird, but it looked like he kind of hit him in the pads. I mean, he's wearing pads. I don't know.
Your head coach ain't gonna hit you harder
Yeah,
than your teammates want to hit you. That's for sure.
yeah,
So
right.
I
And
mean, it's
you're
crazy.
getting tackled, you're getting smashed in the field, and we're gonna find the coach for I don't know.
I mean, pardon my French, but what a dumbass, dude. You don't play very much on the field,
Right?
and
You
you
get your
break
chance.
off a 72-yard run as a backup, man, that would have put the game away too. I think
Mhm.
they would have been up like 28-6 or something crazy.
Right after Adonai Mitchell had just done it. Like,
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like, how does it keep happening? It's every year it happens at least once, and I'll never understand it. And this year it happened twice, and it happened twice in back-to-back weeks, which is wild. And yeah, I don't know. You gotta it's crazy. I don't even you don't even there's nothing you can even say at this point. It's just wild. But I don't think Jonathan Gannon deserved a fine for that. I mean, as a head coach, you probably want to see your head coach keep his cool a little bit more. But emotions run high, and I understand it in that situation. So I don't know, but I don't think DeMercado sees the field a whole lot
yeah,
this week.
Michael
So anyway,
Carter's gonna get the lion's share, but
yeah, for sure. So anyway, I'll pick Colts to win. I would probably stay away from the line. I don't know. I probably won't bet that game, but if I had gun to my head, I guess I'll take Arizona with the points.
okay. Chargers,
Uh,
Miami, Chargers by 3.5.
Chargers 3.5. I like Chargers to cover in this game. I know it's at Miami. I know it's a long way for LA to travel. I know it's kind of the Miami Tua revenge, Tua proving that he was worth the draft pick instead of Justin Herbert game or whatever. But because Miami could have
Eh,
drafted Justin Herbert.
yeah, I think that
So I think,
conversation's a moot point at this point.
it is 100%. But I'm saying Tua is probably what I'm saying is
Sure.
Tua is going to have that chip on his shoulder. He's going to want to prove that he was worth the draft pick. No one believes it. And so, no, I would take Justin Herbert. There's few quarterbacks I would take over Justin Herbert. He's one of the best. So, but I think Chargers win by more than 4 points, four or more points.
Okay, New England, New Orleans by 3.5.
New Orleans are favored. No,
New England's
Patriots are
favorite.
favored.
Yep.
Yeah. Patriots. Patriots to win. Patriots to cover. There's not much to say about that. It's Spencer Rattler. Drake May has looked almost like an MVP candidate so far this year. The Patriots defense is starting to come in their own. Christian Gonzalez is back, and he's playing Christian Gonzalez ball. Yeah, give me the Patriots to cover all day.
Okay, Dylan Gabriel and the Browns visit Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers by 5.5.
5.5.
Yeah, 5.5.
I like the Browns to. I like. I would be tempted to take Browns money line in this game. I just think it's going to be a defensive battle. Oddly enough, the Browns just traded Greg Newsome. I don't know if you saw it just happened. They just traded Greg Newsome to the Jaguars.
Wow.
Yep, and they got back another corner. So
Wow.
he traded. I think it was Greg Newsome in a 7th for this other corner and a 6th from the Jaguars. I forget who the other corner
I
was.
mean, wow. I mean, for the Jags, they now have Travis Hunter and Greg Newsome over there. That might be one of the better cornerback duos now.
Well, I mean, I think you're going to see less Travis Hunter on the field on the defensive side of the ball now. I think that's part of why they did it. I don't know how much of that game you watched or if you watched any highlights after, but like Travis Hunter was all over the field. He looked every bit of the draft pick that on which they picked him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was blocking dudes downfield, and he made that stellar catch and coverage, and then on the defensive side of the ball, he had at least one PBU, and I don't know, he looked awesome. So I'm excited to watch the Jaguars the rest of the season because that game was fun, and they look like a team with Liam Cohen leading the way that's ready to battle. So, but no, I like Cleveland in this game. I think I would take the points probably, but I would almost go money line. There's a lot been made about the trade to Joe Flacco, now Greg Newsome, and guys are going to be fired up. And Myles Garrett, there's a lot being made about Myles Garrett getting shut down last week. I just think they're going to have a huge chip on their shoulder.
It's a Darisaw effect, man.
Yeah, well, for sure. But even when he went against Rouse, he wasn't very successful. A lot of that was because Carson Wentz was throwing the ball as soon as he caught it. But yeah, either way, it was an effective game plan against the Browns, and they're gonna be fired. That defense is gonna be fired up to go. Cowboys Panthers is interesting because Carolina does not lose at home. What's the line on that?
Dallas by 3.5.
So I would definitely go Panthers then. I think they're probably going to be a lot of points. Yeah. Carolina does not lose at home. Bryce Young has had his moments this year, and he's playing the worst passing defense in the league. So I think Carolina can hold their own, especially at home. I like Carolina in that game against the Cowboys. They're just, and don't get me wrong, like Cowboys will get theirs. They can score. They can score with anyone. They just can't stop anything. So, I mean, what's the over under? Probably
50.5.
Wow. I was going to say 48.5. Wow. 50.5. Yeah.
All of Dallas' games have turned into
shootouts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You can't stop anything. So, yeah, definitely. I like Carolina. I think I'd like Carolina to win that game. So, all
right. Seattle and Jacksonville. Seattle by 1.5.
This is probably the game of the week for the 1 o'clock, or in your case, the noon slate. This will be a fun game. Seattle's favored by 1.5.
San Fran and Tampa Bay could possibly be one of the better games as well.
Yeah, that's the afternoon. I said for the noon slate. I think this is the.
Yep.
Sorry. I don't know. The Fighting Sam Darnold. I really liked what I saw at Jacksonville. So I probably won't bet this game. But again, gun to my head. At Jacksonville, it's a long way to travel. I guess I'll take the Jaguars.
Maybe we got to start doing pick 'em. Maybe some pick 'em.
I think it'd be great.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, just picks.
Yeah. Do our picks. Maybe that's something we start keeping track of too.
I like it.
How about Los Angeles, the Rams at Baltimore? I think that one's pretty open and shut if Lamar's not starting. But the Rams
LA,
at 7.5.
7.5. Yeah, I don't know, man. Baltimore looked just god awful. Mm. I didn't see any hope to even consider taking Baltimore in this game. Their defense is a bottom 3 in the league. I think the only team worse in pass defense than Baltimore is Dallas. So, yeah, I'd take the Rams. I would take them to cover even.
Okay. Titans in Vegas. Vegas is by 3.5 in this game. I actually like the Titans in this game, but we'll see if Las Vegas can get it going with Geno, and he can maybe have a little bit better control with the ball.
Yeah, Geno hasn't looked like he did last year or the year before, that's for sure. The Titans are coming off their first win, thanks to DeMarcado from the Cardinals. I like the Titans to at least cover for sure. I'd be tempted to take them to win also. It's not a game anyone's going to be excited to watch, I'll tell you that.
Joe Flacco gets to start at Green Bay by 14.5.
14.5 is a crazy number.
But it is Cincinnati.
I know. You can't. That's just too much. It's the NFL. Like, the only teams that cover 14.5 are like the Lions. And the bitch, by the way, like the Lions cover every spread. So I don't even know what their line is against the Chiefs. They're probably favored by 2.5 or 3.5. I
They're
would
not
take them to
actually. They're
cover.
not favored in that game right now.
Oh my god, free money. Yeah, I mean Packers to win, obviously. Bengals to cover.
Okay.
Just too many points, and I don't know, man. Joe Flacco already beat Green Bay once this year. I think Jamar Chase has 2 touchdowns.
It'd be funny if it happens again. I would love it. I know Vikings fans would love it. San Fran at Tampa Bay by 2.5.
Hmm. Yeah, Tampa Bay at home. I mean, Tampa wins by 1 on a last-second field goal because Baker leads them down the field with 40 seconds left. That's my prediction. San Fran
I
to
definitely think
cover,
it's gonna be
Tampa to win.
I definitely think it's gonna be a close one that comes down to the wire for sure.
I said every Bucks game is close.
Every Bucks game,
Bucks
every San Fran game has been that way too.
Bucks this year remind me of Vikings in 2022, where just every single game is like a nail biter. They come back and they win it at the end. Like so,
Detroit at Kansas City. We talked about it already, but Kansas City is favored by 2.5.
it's
Now
crazy.
you
It's
usually
because
get
they're at
you get
home.
you get 3 points at
3
home.
points at home.
Yeah.
But the Lions have looked like since after week 1, the Lions, has anyone looked better than the Lions this year?
It's tough. I would say that they're probably one of the better looking teams in the league right now, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll take Lions to win. So money line, there's some good value there.
Okay. Buffalo, we're talking Monday Night Football at Atlanta. Buffalo by 4.5.
Yeah, I like Atlanta's defense a lot. Buffalo also has a strong defense, but Buffalo has Josh Allen. I'll take the Bills. Bills to cover.
Okay. Chicago at Washington, another Monday Night Football game. Washington by 4.5.
Yeah, I like Chicago here.
I like Chicago too.
I just think that they want revenge for the Hail Mary game last year. So bad because and Tyreek Stevenson's gonna have just the biggest chip on his shoulder, and you know how those things work. Washington did it to Chicago last year in Chicago. Chicago is gonna want to give it back to Washington in Washington. So yeah, I like Chicago there. I mean, you don't have to take money line, but at least take the points.
Absolutely. We're gonna kind of quickly go through these charts. Any issues or any changes that you would make to these quarterback charts? How I have them right now. Again, I have Matt Stafford as my number one. When it makes it pretty easy when you got Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams as your 1 and 2 wide receivers.
Yeah, I mean, and like we talked about, Baltimore's pass defense hasn't been good. I think Stafford has a big week. I like Jaden Daniels a little more this week than you do. I know I just finished talking about why Chicago will be able to beat them in Washington D.C.
Sure.
But I still think Jaden Daniels does get his and has a game. I mean, he's going to make plays on the ground with his feet. So I would have him ranked a little higher.
I think if Terry McLaurin plays, that changes a little bit, but
yeah,
he may not play again this week. So
yeah, I don't know if he is going to, but either way, I mean, even like Debo's looked good, and Luke McCaffrey had a pretty good game last week. So, other than that, nothing jumps out. I think Mahomes might have a pretty good week against Detroit. Also, I think that'll be back and forth.
Now, and you may not, Dak Prescott, he's been putting up the numbers, without CD Lamb.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Flournoy had, coming in, he had an over 100-yard game. I think he had like 112 yards. Floor who?
Yeah, right.
He comes out of nowhere. George Pickens has a nondescript game. Ferguson with 2 touchdowns, but Flournoy goes off, and Dak Prescott again has another monster game.
I thought one of the better signings this offseason right now is looking like Javonte Williams. I mean, he's been crushing it for Detroit, and I think that running game has really helped
Dallas.
Dak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, for Dallas. And that running game has really helped Dak have what I mean. I don't know how many. I don't think there's very many quarterbacks in the league that have better numbers, in the air than Dak Prescott does right now.
Moving on to running backs, Jonathan Taylor, he's my number one. He's just on a hot streak right now. And when they get near the goal line, it seems to be the Jonathan Taylor's show all day. Not much throwing going on that goal line. It's give it to our guy and let him put it in the end zone.
Yeah. I know Saquon's kind of nursing a little bit of an injury.
Yeah, he's been averaging sub 50 yards a
Yeah.
game right now, and he's on pace for not even having a 1,000-yard season this year.
Yeah. Yeah, but he's Saquon and he's playing his former team. So if he is
I hear you.
healthy, I think
I
he's
hear you.
going to want to go.
I have him lower just because of what he has been doing. You do have Dexter Lawrence on that defense, stuffing a little bit in the middle.
The Derrick Henry disrespect is just quite vivid here. I understand the last few weeks has been a no-show, but he's Derrick Henry.
It's Derrick Henry, but with no Lamar Jackson, those guys go together like peanut butter and jelly. And when he's not in the game and he's not that RPO type threat, I think that does take some luster off the Derrick Henry jive. You can put more people in the box because there's not as big of a threat to throw the ball, and that's why he's not in my top 15.
I got you. I mean, I understand he hasn't done enough to show it, but he's Derrick Henry, so I think Derrick Henry has a bounce back week. I'll say that. I like him this week.
I hear you. I mean, he's a good running back that just is not popping right now. I just again, if Jackson was in the game, he'd probably be in my top 10.
Yeah.
I do like Kyron Williams a lot. To where it almost hurts me to even put him at number 3 this week because I think he is going to have a monster game.
Yeah. Well, Baltimore can't stop anything. I think that's I think that's legit. And Kyron's had a great year so far.
Mm-hmm.
I like Bijan Robinson a lot versus Buffalo. I like Rachaad White in there taking over the carries for Bucky. Rachaad White will get you 3 yards every time.
He's got the Leroy horde going on, right?
Yeah. He's like, if you need 1 yard, he'll get you 3. If you need 4 yards, he'll get you 3.
Anything more on the running back chart?
No.
All right, let's move on to wide receivers. Again, I got a new face with the Jigba at the top, and Puka Nacua still hanging around. He's gonna be towards the top of the charts every week as long as he's healthy.
I just gotta ask you one question. After last week, leaving Jettas off your top 15.
I know. He's been having 100 yards.
Have you learned your lesson?
Well, he's on a bye week, so it's safe.
I know you can't this week. 15. I understand, but I mean, goodness.
He was facing Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome. Typically that typically that would be a favorable matchup with a hurt offensive line. Didn't look good going into that game, but yes, never doubt Jettas.
Yeah, every year they try to say who's the best wide receiver in the NFL, Jettas or this guy, or this guy. But it's always Jettas or someone else.
Yeah, and it wasn't so much, can Jettas do it? It was so much, does Carson Wentz have the time to even find
100%.
him and get him?
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, he's the number 1 receiver in the NFL. And I'm totally biased, but I don't care.
So Igbukah, I have him at 4, but I do have like a lot of and we'll see as people get more tape on Igbukah. I really think that they're going to shift how they play him.
Yeah,
He's been getting a lot of his yards for just over the top burning and taking the top off.
for sure.
I think defenses will learn to adjust to that. That may slow up a little bit.
It might.
Um, but I mean, we'll see. But again, he's been hot.
Yeah.
And he's a top 5 in yards right now. So
Well, Baker's going to keep taking shots.
mhm.
There's no doubt about it. So, and as you know, now with Godwin back playing, when Mike Evans comes back, I mean, look out! That team's going to be fun. But yeah, no, I think, I think 4 is probably a good spot for him. I'm trying to think if there's anyone I like. I like putting Debo in there.
One that jumped up the charts for me this week was Ridley, and I think Cam Ward after last week, he targeted him about 10 times last week. I completed 5 of them, but he definitely finally started, turning on the faucet a little bit towards Calvin Ridley.
Hmm.
And I think the confidence has kind of grown, especially after the success they had last week. And I think he's going to take a lot more shots going forward towards Calvin Ridley's way.
Yeah, yeah, I can see it for sure. There's no reason why his trust hasn't been earned at this point.
Another one, they're coming off of bye week, Rome Odunze, and it just seems like no matter what, Caleb Williams has been finding him,
Hmm.
and he has kind of exploded. And I just think he has to be a must start.
Yeah, well, when you look at his target share, it's kind of hard to argue
Mhm.
otherwise. I think he's averaging like a third of the targets every week.
Yeah, I
So
mean, last year he was the number 3 guy, but now this year he's, DJ Moore has kind of taken a backseat to Rome.
big time.
So, all right, move on to the tight end charts. You and I are kind of on the same page here with Ferguson at
Yeah,
number 1.
yeah. Dak loves him this year, and
Mhm.
I think he's averaging 9.5 targets a game. I mean, it's hard to argue otherwise. He had 2 touchdowns last week, and then he's playing Carolina, who gives up the most fantasy points to tight ends in the league. So very juicy this week. Which means, of course, we both like him. He's
Mhm.
probably gonna have a dud. Um,
No,
I,
not saying he's going to have another two touchdown
no,
week,
I know.
but when you don't have CD Lamb, George Pickens is now going against number 1 corners. He's a better target option, like you said. Carolina struggles against tight ends, which even when CD Lamb's in the lineup, I like Jake Ferguson. He's a good tight
You,
end.
so you don't like Kraft this weekend, Tucker Kraft?
So, going against Cincinnati, I just don't think that. So I like Love in this game. I just think he's gonna pepper it around, and I just don't have him as high
Sure,
um, on my list going into this game. He does have a kind of that nagging injury that's been bugging him as well too. So just do you have to play him a whole lot in this game?
sure.
So
Yeah,
that's just where I'm at on Tucker Craft. I
yeah,
actually have him in fantasy. One of my leagues, I'm playing him this week. But just as I look at it, he's just this is one of those games where I really like Josh Jacobs. I think the Packers will put up some points early. And if Tucker Craft doesn't have his points by midway third quarter, I think it's running the clock the rest of the way.
sure.
It's one of those games.
I mean, I could see it. I could see it.
14.5 is the line,
Oh,
so
yeah,
Vegas thinks it's going to be one of those games as well. That's
yeah,
just where I'm at. I don't think there's going to be as many targets. Um, Green Bay, I just don't think is going to have to toss the ball around a ton.
sure, sure. I mean, yeah, I could see that for sure. I would probably put him right around where Kincaid is
Sure,
if I
that's
was
fair.
doing it. But on a normal week, he'd probably be
He'd be
top
a top 10 guy.
6. Yeah,
Yeah, he'd be a top 10 guy.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
matchup wise, with Cincy, I just don't think they're going to have to throw the ball as much. And potentially Christian Watson coming back this week as well. So just uh, another guy that's
Yeah.
fighting for targets.
Hmm.
They got like 5 or 6 different receivers they like to throw
They
the ball
do.
to.
Yeah, they
So
got a whole
you
bunch
spin a
of
wheel and
number.
you spin a wheel. It's hard to guess which one's going to actually get the targets that week.
Mhm. Yeah, they got the most number 2 and number 3 receivers of any team.
One tight end I'm starting to like more and more every week, and I mentioned him was Mason Taylor,
Yeah.
the Jets. I
Hmm.
really think if you're in dynasty leagues and you haven't already snatched him up, he absolutely should be on your roster.
Maybe Chicago drafted the wrong Michigan tight end.
Well,
Because
I just think Taylor, with his size too, he's about 6'5". Um,
yeah,
he's got that great size, especially for red zone targets as well. And Mason Taylor just last week I think he put up like 17 points. And that was without a touchdown.
yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, but I'm but yeah, Loveland's been a total letdown. I mean, I would if you had to start a Bears tight end, you're starting Komet right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're not starting Loveland. Um, and I mean, wow, that draft pick looks increasingly bad as the season goes. So, I hope for Loveland's sake he gets it going. I liked him at Michigan. Him being a Bear, I don't mind watching the ship sink. So, and especially with the year that Tyler Warren's having, because they took him over Tyler Warren, and every mock draft and everyone I saw had Tyler Warren over Loveland.
They do have a lot of mouths to feed on that
Yeah.
offense. So there is that. I mean, you got Luther Burden, Roma Duze, DJ Moore, and you got DJ Moore also, playing a lot in the screen game, even sometimes in the backfield.
Yeah, but you take him that early
And you got Komet.
and expect him to be the
I hear you.
Laporta type guy, and Komet's still outplaying him.
Well, Komet,
It's not looking
is
like
Komet on that team next year?
I don't know.
It could be the Colton Loveland show come next year.
Or he could be the next Kyle Pitts.
Well, Kyle Pitts has been doing a little bit better this year. I have to give him a little bit of credit. But top 15 kicker chart, Eddie Pinheiro. And again, I just like the matchup. Yes, he's been kicking. He kicked well last week against the Rams. But I like him again against Tampa Bay because, again, all of Tampa's games end up coming down to kicks. A lot of kicks usually happen in these high-scoring games. So I like that matchup.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't know how to analyze kickers in fantasy. I just try to pick I stream kickers pretty much if I have a league with kickers.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much all our leagues, we just got rid of kickers now. So we add a flex, get rid of kickers. I don't know. To me, it's more fun.
Yeah.
But I have one league where there's still a kicker, and I just stream them, and I just find what game do I think a lot of points are going to be
A
scored
lot of
in,
points and which
and then I
teams are
just pick.
struggling in the red zone. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, but so yeah, I mean, it's you never know with kickers, but I think in our head to head, not to spoil it, but I think I took Dicker just because it's fun to
I think
see
you did.
the Dicker kicker.
Moving into the defense, and again, this all has to do with the matchup. I like the Rams because of no
Mhm.
Lamar Jackson and just how much they struggled, only putting 6 points on the board last week.
Yeah, I think I got Broncos as my top defense this week. I could definitely see the Rams having success against Baltimore. But seeing as I like Derrick Henry this week, I couldn't just having a bounce back. It's a gut feeling. So I couldn't take Rams as a top defense, but I mean, I see where you're coming from. And then Packers coming off a bye, playing Joe Flacco in his first start for Cincinnati should be pretty safe bet, you would think. And yeah, Steelers, Cleveland. You could probably flip that as well and go Cleveland versus Steelers.
Sure.
And either way, you'll probably have some good success. And then, yeah, I like the Eagles. I like the Eagles defense this week. A lot of sacks. Broncos lead the NFL in sacks already by a fairly wide margin. So,
and I think that they're going to have quite a few sacks still on Justin Fields. It just could be one of those games where sometimes like Justin Fields just finds a way, or there's garbage time where they put up some points. But I still think the Broncos, I have them really high just because I do think that they're going to get quite a few sacks on Justin Fields as well.
mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll see if it's picks, but they're going to get in the backfield, fumbles, sacks, they're going to get points. So I definitely do like the Broncos in that one as well. We did have a question from Bo Singleton. He said he traded Marvin Brees for A-Chain and have plenty of depth at receiver. And I think he's talking about Marvin Harrison Jr. So Marv and Brees for A-Chain.
Just the volume that A-Chain gets, especially if this is a PPR, I do love the trade. And rumors are out right now that the Jets are maybe even shopping Brees Hall. So who knows what that means for them. Excuse me. So, and if you have the depth at wide receiver where you can afford this 2-for-1, then yeah, I love the trade. I think A-Chain is a fantasy
gold. He says full PPR. Bo says it is Marvin Harrison and full PPR.
Yeah, then I love it. I think A-Chain is just, especially in PPR leagues, he's fantasy gold. So, and
as long as he stays healthy, I love it.
Yeah, and then if it's a dynasty league, holy crap, well, even better. So,
yep.
So yes, good trade.
I like that one as well. I would have liked it. What kind of league is this? Is this, you said full PPR, but is this a dynasty league or just a single year league redraft? It's a redraft league.
Yeah.
So
I still like it.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, A-Chain is going to be a beast the rest of the year with no Tyreek Hill out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
he gets what, 6 targets a game plus, at least I would say. Plus, I mean, he touches the ball anywhere from 20 to 30 times a game. So I love it.
And Bo, and if anyone else has questions out there, go ahead and throw them our way. If you have any comments, questions, trades, who to start and sit, send them in the comments. Bo has a follow-up question. Who would you flex? Krosky, Warren, Swift, or Ladd? I personally, out of that list, after what I saw last week and Jaden McDaniels back, I like Krosky.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think Krosky in that list definitely wouldn't be Warren. I love Warren as your tight end, but not as a flex.
So Warren's just coming back here too, and Kenneth Gainwell had a big week last week. So is there a little bit of a share going on there? Is just my only concern with that.
Yeah, well, you're saying, he's saying Jalen Warren, not Tyler Warren.
Yeah, Jalen Warren.
Oh, okay. Yep. All right. Then
he just confirmed Jalen Warren.
Yep. Jalen Warren, not Tyler Warren. Okay, that makes more sense. But still, Gainwell did look good even in his absence. So
at 99 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. So I would go Krosky. He's the feature back there. I mean, it's pretty clear. Krosky or Swift, I would say. Those would be my 2 options.
Okay. As far as if we start playing stock up, stock down, was there anybody that caught your eye that is now stock up after week 5?
Going after into week 5, Krosky, that's one of them right there. I mean, he's looked good, but then after that, stock skyrocketed. Michael Carter was clearly the feature back in Arizona.
What about Rico Dowdle?
If you picked that was my next one.
Dowdle and started him last week, what a waiver stud he turned out to be last week.
Can I tell you why I lost this week? I was one of the higher scoring teams in one of my leagues this year. And but I lost to the guy who scored the most, and he started Rico Dowdle and Rashid Shaheed.
Rashid went off too. He had over 100 yards.
I was he has Ibuka as well. So I mean, just right there, it's like, how do I mean, if you're gonna beat me with Rico Dowdle and Rashid Shaheed, I have no hope. And sure enough, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah,
Michael
watching Rico
Carter
Dowdle
was a
go off for
waiver.
200 yards, I'm like,
Michael Carter was a waiver winner last week as well.
yep, that's what. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, stock up Michael Carter, Rico Dowdle, Korsky, Bill, as they call him. Love all
Top,
those guys. And then receivers, stock up. I don't know if his stock could go up any more than it already is, but JSN, he continues to just be Sam Darnold's Justin Jefferson from last year, and rightfully so. He looks awesome. So
before we get in on top 5 low darks, I see your questions on there. We'll get it in just a second. What about stock down for you?
stock down. Well, Saquon for one. He's just like, I think he's dealing with an injury. I really do. And I think he may end up missing a couple games in the future just to let him get healthy. And I think they have the mini bye coming up too before they play the Vikings actually. So they play Thursday night, right? This week.
No. San Fran and LA are the Thursday night game. Or sorry, Philly and New York are the Thursday night games.
Philly and New York. Okay.
Saquon is playing Thursday. Sorry,
he is playing Thursday. Yeah,
Saquon is. Yep.
Yeah, so they have kind of this mini bye, as they call it, because they got a longer week, a longer rest before they have to play the Vikings, coming off a bye too. So I don't know, but we'll see what happens after the Vikings game. I could see Saquon maybe missing a couple weeks. So stock down obviously on Saquon right now. Stock down on. I don't know. I can't think of. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. DK Metcalf. He had one big week, but
well, I mean, so
it was against the Vikings,
right? I mean, for me,
he had a bye last
to
week.
go down. Geno Smith is a stock down for me.
Oh yeah,
and if I have to just kind of look at the play, I mean, I kind of think that Zay Flowers is maybe a stock down just because of the Lamar Jackson injury. I don't know if I really am too high on Zay Flowers right now.
Yeah. Jamar Chase stock up with Joe Flacco coming to town.
Yeah. I mean, he was still getting his. Even last week, he still had 110 yards receiving, but Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, I do think that they get an upgrade with Joe Flacco tossing the ball. I think he's going to be a little bit more accurate, and they could see an uptick because a stock down has been Chase Brown. But hopefully he gets going a little bit with Joe Flacco coming to town. I just don't know if this is the week that he pops off.
Yeah, maybe not.
So top 5 low darks. He has a question, half PPR flex. He needs one of these. So flex 1, Breece Hall, Travis Etienne, Cortland Sutton, Marvin Harrison Jr. or Brian Thomas Jr. That's a
stock up, by the way, Brian Thomas Jr.
That's a pretty good selection for your flex.
Yeah, right. That's a good problem to have. I would probably go. I like Sutton. I'd probably go ETN.
I like ETN out of who you have here. My problem with Breece Hall is just Breece Hall is going to be going against Denver. That's a tough defense this week. Sutton, he might be, he's going to have New York Jets' top corner on him, and I don't know why his name is escaping me right now. So that might be a tougher matchup, but some way, somehow, Cortland Sutton always seems to get his a little bit. Marvin Harrison Jr., they've been having some better chemistry, going on. They are going against Tennessee at home, so that could be something to where Marvin Harrison Jr. or Etienne is probably my pick in this one. To me,
Yeah,
Brian Thomas Jr. just hasn't been consistent enough. I'm an owner of Brian Thomas Jr., but just to me, uh, just the consistency hasn't been there with the connection, and it just
I agree.
seemingly it seems like the accuracy in getting him the ball has not been there either.
Yeah. Yeah, I go ETN out of that list, and I think that's the safest play if you want like biggest potential play. It might be Brian. It might be uh, Brian Thomas Jr.
You Low Darks, you were asking for kicker rankings. This is our top 15 for kicker rankings. I got Eddie Pinheiro as my number one. Um, so I don't know if you have any of these kickers or if any of these are available right now in your leagues, but this is my top 15 for this week. Okay. Andrew Burnell or Burwell says, "Sup, fellas? Would you start Mac Jones or Darnold, and would you start Rico or Bourne, considering starters are out?" I'll go ahead and let you start.
Well, I mean, you got to go Sam Darnold. I think here he's been airing it out. I think he's looked
And he has the
incredible.
better weapons.
He does have the better weapons. There's no question about that. And then Rico Dowdle, I assume, versus or Kendrick Bourne. I mean,
Mhm.
it's you got to go Dowdle. I know. Yeah, no doubt all day. It's that game's gonna be there's gonna be some points scored. So I like Rico in that game. Dallas can't
So
stop anything.
so Rico Dowdle, amazing. It was against Miami's defense, who has been a freaking sieve against the run. This week they're going against Dallas. Now Dallas is maybe a little bit better, um, but their defense overall has been allowing a lot of points. So that does favor a possible another decent game from Rico Dowdle. So I'm with you, Darnold and Rico for me.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Sauce Gardner was was a quarterback from the Jets. I was trying to think about. Thank you for that top five low darks, man. A lot of this stuff, sometimes the top of the head just escaping me. So thank you for that. So now, as we get into our next section, I'm just going to talk about whether you would bet or no better pass. Before we get into that, I do want to talk about one of our sponsors that we do have through Viking Central, which is SeatGeek. So if you're looking to go to any NFL games this season, make sure that you're using, we're powered by Vike Central. Please make sure that you use code Vike Central and get $20 off any $50 or more purchase. And again, that Bike Central code at SeatGeek, that's good for any concerts, events, and again, any games, whether they're NFL, NBA, NHL starting here too. Go ahead, use SeatGeek and get that $20 off any $50 or more purchase when you use that code Bike Central. The other thing I want to mention too, again, we have it rolling against the ticker with our link tree for all of our social media. Please make sure that you're following us. Leave us comments, questions. Um, that's one of the ways that you can support us if you like our content. And then go ahead and follow us as well at our personal accounts. You see myself at Steve Hoikla, and then you see Ryan Jones. He is Flow School at Jones underscore Z30. All right, so better pass. As we get into this, I just want to ask you a couple of questions as far as better pass for some of the over unders that I might have stat wise this week. We did have a big week last week from Jonathan Taylor. If you had to better pass, Jonathan Taylor 1.5 touchdowns
I mean, if I'm getting plus money, I guess I'd bet, but which you would be
over
if you're
under, if
betting
you
it.
will, on that.
Okay, I'll go under.
Okay,
I think it'll get
so
one, but
but all right. And then if I'm gonna take Ashton Genty, he's been up and down.
mhm.
And now this week, Ashton Genty with the Las Vegas Raiders, they're taking on Tennessee. It's at home. Does Aston Genty get over 100 yards? Is that a bet for you or a pass?
Pass.
Okay.
Not 100.
Okay. And we did already talk about it a little bit, but Rico Dowdle had 206 yards rushing this week against the Miami Dolphins. So this week, Carolina, Rico Dowdle, does he break 100 yards rushing?
Bet.
Okay.
I think so. Dallas defense sucks.
Okay. And Emeka Ibuka has been going off. He had 163 yards receiving last week. Does he get over 100 yards receiving this week? And that's Tampa Bay going against the San Francisco 49ers.
Yeah, Niners tough matchup always. I'm going to say pass.
Okay. Stephon Diggs showed up now. He was going against his former team, the Buffalo Bills. The Boo Birds were out early. But then he even gave the pregame speech to the New England Patriots as well too, getting them all hyped up. And then he comes out and has 146 yards of receiving, has a huge game. Him and Drake May looked on fire. So now this week, the New England Patriots are going to be, trying to build that momentum going against the New Orleans Saints. It's at New Orleans. Does Stephon Diggs get over 100 yards receiving in this game? Do they continue the momentum?
100's tough. I mean, I think that's the only game he broke 100, right?
So far. Yep.
Yeah. I will pass.
Okay.
Pass hesitantly.
Okay. Joe Flacco making his first career start with the Cincinnati Bengals.
Break a hip?
No. Better pass. Does he throw 2 or more touchdowns in this game in his first game as a Cincinnati Bengal?
It's the Packers. Pass.
Okay. All right. So that's all I have for our questions for a bet or pass. Again, we have a few more minutes. If you have any final questions for us, go ahead and throw them in comments. I do want to thank all of you that have joined us, that have dropped some questions as far as sit start trades, trade questions and scenarios that you have there as well. Definitely appreciate that. I want to move on to our ultimate lineup that we had last week. So our ultimate lineup last week, I'm just going to go ahead and bring it on the screen. So this was our ultimate lineup last week. Unfortunately, Ryan, you're going to have to take the L last week, week 5. The big thing for me was Jonathan Taylor having 34.1 points. And then obviously Puka Nacua and Jackson Smith and Jiga were huge for me as well. So 142.72 against 111.22, 22 points there. Again, I start off 1-0. That was our first week that we did this. So unfortunately, I start off 1-0, you start off 0-1, but now we move into week 6 in our lineup. And in week 6, I'm starting through who I have on my pick. So I'm staying true to who I told you to pick in my top 15. So Matt Stafford, I have Jonathan Taylor, Christian McCaffrey, JSN, Jamar Chase, Jake Ferguson, Kyron Williams, Eddie Pinheiro, and then I have the Rams defense. You want to talk about yours at all, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, the unpopular pick here is going to be Derrick Henry, and the reason he's there is just you can only hold that guy down for so long, and I think he's just that good where he's due. That's really what it boils down to. Bijan is a freak. They're going to feature him a lot. I mean, and then Chase, we both have, so that'll cancel each other out. And then I took Puka this week.
I like Puka. I like Puka.
Yeah.
He was my number 3 guy. I mean, arguably, he should still be, in my top 1 or 2. But I don't want to keep choosing the same guys every week. But I do like the matchup this week that JSN has.
Yeah, but I think if Stafford has a big game, then Puka will probably have a big game. So,
Absolutely.
but
Stafford's
I think
playing
it'll be a
quarterback.
close. I think it'll be a close. I think this week will be a lot closer. I think I kept it a little more chalky, and yeah. So hopefully I can. I'm hoping
Both
Derrick Henry goes off. If Derrick Henry goes off, I'll win.
we both like Ferguson. We both like McCaffrey. And then you get the Broncos defense, which I really like too, and I like Dicker as well. Yeah, I mean,
It's just
I
got a fun
love the
name.
lineup. I love the lineup, except for maybe the Derrick Henry pick.
Yeah, which I figured it'd probably be the unpopular pick. I
You know
don't
what?
care.
If
He's
Derrick
Derrick
Henry goes
freaking
off,
Henry.
yeah, if Derrick Henry goes off, it's still a win for me. I have him starting in one of my leagues.
All right.
I would be happy to see him go off. So if I end up taking an L on my ultimate lineup so I can win in my other league, I think that's okay as well too.
Yeah.
So this is who we have for ultimate lineup week 6. So if you have any doubts of who to start, maybe in some of your leagues, you can take a look at not only our top 15 charts that we have, but then also the ultimate lineup between Ryan and I. Kenny Stay Trill. He says, would you trade AJ Brown for James Cook? Full PPR. I still have Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen, Bajan, Judkins, Ferguson, and Waller, the 12 team, and he must be 4-1, is what he's saying. Would I trade AJ Brown for James Cook? Okay, you have Bijan and you have Judkins.
I mean,
I'm guessing you have a flex as well too. I would just have to see the same roster, but straight up, I like that trade.
yeah. I mean, here's the thing when it comes to fantasy and what I've learned is it's if you can start if you have one flex and you can start 3 solid running backs as you get into the playoffs, you're usually going to be better off than 3 receivers because
Mhm.
as the season winds down, running backs become more and more prevalent and featured more and more. So I like that trade because later on in the season, especially, I think it'll pay dividends for you. I do feel like Buffalo was a little weary of James. Like they had him on some kind of pitch count, it seemed, this past week. Hopefully that's not like a total trend, but his utilization rate was super high. And so I get why they're trying to bring it down so that they have him good, ready to go, fresh for the playoffs.
Hey Kenny, who is your other wide receivers and your other running backs that you have? If you can throw that into the chat,
It's
that
like
might help us a little bit too.
Garrett Wilson, Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to have some other people on his bench. If you give away AJ Brown, like what else do you have on your bench? Is just my question. And then James Cook. I love Bajan Judkins, and then in your flex having James Cook, I think that's awesome. If it's a league where you start 3 receivers, you might have a little bit of a gap there. So he's got Aaron Jones, Travis Hunter, and Romeo Dubs as his other individuals. Yeah, you'll have a little gap on the receiver side of the house.
But it really doesn't matter. Like,
He can start 2 wide receivers,
yeah,
so just AJ Brown isn't producing right now, and he's on a team that's a running team anyways. He's not getting the targets, especially when you're in full PPR. James Cook is probably getting just as many targets as AJ Brown is, and has a better ability of scoring and getting in the end zone than AJ Brown does.
yeah, yeah. I would do it.
So that's where we are, Kenny. I appreciate it. He says he's a 2 he can start 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers. He can start 2 flex as well. Um so that's an interesting
Yeah. I
yeah.
mean,
And
it
he
doesn't
still
really
has
change that gives you, I think starting Bijan, Judkins, and James Cook is a recipe for success in
absolutely.
fantasy.
And James Cook is one of those 3 down backs. Love it.
Exactly. All 3 of those guys are just heavy workload, high
Mhm.
utilization rate. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked one bit if all three of them were top 12 fantasy running backs at the end of the season.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, if if you have that deal on the table, I take that all day.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys have? Go ahead and send it our way. Otherwise, I think we're getting close to wrapping up the show. Um, Oops, I apologize. I'm trying to take the comment off there, and I took you off there. All
It's all
right,
good.
so I'm going to remove that ultimate lineup. So going into this week, any kind of final thoughts that you have going into week 6?
No, got to mow my lawn on Sunday and then watch some football. I think it'll be a nice, relaxing week this week without having to worry about the Vikings. So I'm excited for that. Um, and then yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be a good week of football. It should be fun. I'm excited for Saturday. There's some really good college games on Saturday.
Absolutely. I might have to be a little bit creative this next week, just so you guys are tracking. I do have one of my kids does have um, an upcoming procedure that will be gone for at the hospital. So um, you
Oh
know,
man.
um, so we'll be having that done. So I'm not sure what that episode looks like here for this following week. So I'll do my best to try to put out something, but obviously family comes first with that. So and I'll be out of town, for that for a little bit. So
Well,
um, so I'll try to put something out best I can to at least get out some lists for you guys for next week. But in case there isn't a show, that is why for next
mhm.
week.
Well, we'll be keep you and the family in our thoughts, man. Hope that everything turns out okay.
Appreciate that. Absolutely. Well, week 6, hopefully we helped you last week. We had some really good picks in the top 15 charts. Hopefully our ultimate lineups that we're doing now is also helping you a little bit. Do appreciate all you guys joining us for most of our shows. This 9:30 Central time frame seems to be something that works out really good for me, and I love having you on, Ryan. So this is something that if you're trying to um, know when this show is going to air so you can join us live, ask us questions. Usually Wednesdays at 9:30 seems to be Central Time, seems to be a good fit for when we plan on doing this show in the future. So you can set your date in your calendars or set your alarms, if you will, and join us for future shows. But other than that, thanks again, Ryan, for joining us. I wish you the best of luck in week 6 for your ultimate lineup. I do think it's going to be a lot closer, and I got my work cut out for me to try to take you down this week.
Hmm.
But
Can't go as good.
make sure that you're following us again on X, YouTube. Look for our episodes to upload after this on Spotify, and then again, haven't really started the TikTok content, but that's something in the future that I plan on doing as well too. So. Make sure that you're following us. That's one of the ways that you can support us. So thank you so much for the Fantasy 15. Again, we're your source for fantasy football. For Ryan and myself, I want to say thank you again, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we'll see something next week or the week after for our next show. So good luck this week for your picks, and hopefully you're winning in your league. Have a great
Yeah,
week.
thanks for having me. Appreciate you all.
Have a great week. Enjoy your football and
Yeah,
enjoy the
man.
week and weekend.